I want to talk about coaching, In soccer, at least we understand what the coach does. There's a difference between a coach and a goalkeeper. Most of the managers and lecturers, I remember when I was at the University of the North, in fact, of a lecturer becoming a coach, it was called University of Limpopo then. The lecturer who's supposed to coach you to pass was a goalkeeper, in fact. You get into a class in 300 and you all have passed your matric, and the lecturer walks in and says, "You're so many." By second year, half of you would have failed. That's a good start. You're so enthusiastic. By the time we in second year, starting with over 300 students, we're 16. Thank God, I don't know how I landed there, but by grace of God, I was there. By the time we did third year, we're 2. So the lecturers were goalkeepers. But coaches is somebody who actually believes on your talent and your abilities. And his job is to coach you all the time and says you can do more, you can do better, you can excel, you can excel. And that's what your role is to coach people. And that's why I thought let's have this little bit of a session and talk about how you improve the performance of people through coaching. And the Word of God, it says it's encouraging somebody who's been away from the Lord. It's called, in biblical terms, we call him a backslider. And it says, please, one day, one shall say, heat it up, prepare the way, take the stumbling block out of the way of my people. So, underline, take stumbling block out of the way of my people. Because as a coach, your fundamental job is to remove stumbling blocks that makes people not to succeed. Stumbling blocks could be psychological because people have got no confidence in themselves. Stumbling block could be the environment in which they operate. Stumbling block could be they don't have the tools of trade in order to achieve what they need to do. Stumbling blocks could be that there must be somebody who's probably frustrating them in the team, and there's a person in the team who's dominating, and anybody else cannot be able to really come up with ideas because there's this dominant guy. So you need to actually remove that stumbling block. Stumbling block means sometimes you need to take tough actions. But that's what we need to do when you're a coach. Because people once they've got a flourishing environment, they grow. A garden is very simple. You just put the seed, as long as you've got the right manure and you put water, it's an amazing miracle that happens. You see a shoot coming out after 2 weeks. And then it just grows and it grows, it grows. And that's why Paul says, I plant the seed, Apollos water it, and God grows it. So that is why it is important that when you're a coach, your role is to remove stumbling blocks on the way. And what are the stumbling blocks? Let's look at these things. Type of managers, micromanagers. Those are stumbling blocks. First of all, micromanager, please, there's 4 types of managers, and please at the end, you must choose one. Are you with me? That's your exercise. I'm going to quickly run through that. Micromanagers are people, you don't trust people. They just don't trust people. They employees become frustrated because they are not trusted. And their ambition and their goal and their potential get stifled. And they expect low productivity from people. And then a rapport. It's actually, in psychological language, it's said those people who actually innately believe that people cannot be trusted. So employees, you don't trust them. And you see how they behave. They keep everything to themselves. They micromanage you. Have you ever worked for a guy? He gives you a job. After a few days, he comes back and says, how are you doing? Let me check that. And he doesn't give you any scope to think and actually apply your mind. How do you feel? Completely frustrated. Micromanaging. The second one is a nice guy. Nice guy manager. Nice guy manager. Nice guy manager is a guy who just wants us to, that's a fun. You know what? It's at work. No more, we've achieved objectives or not, doesn't matter. Let's have fun. We're all buddies here. We love each other. We care for each other. But there's no delivery. There's no results. They expect low productivity, but a high rapport. We all sing kumbaya. In the competitive world in which we are, you do that, you're dead. And then there's this type of a manager called do-it-all manager. And then this manager is an amazing manager because he's a talented manager, but his biggest problem is that he underestimates everybody else's capability in the team. And he believes in this motto, if you want it done it right, I'll do it myself. So he gives you a responsibility, and then thereafter he takes it and he does it himself. And he doesn't coach you. If you make a mistake, he just takes it away. He doesn't say, okay, let's sit down. You've made a mistake. Let me coach you how to improve. Go back and do it. Come back to me, and let's see how else we can help you. Make a mistake, take the job, he does it himself. That completely undermines you, completely undermines your authority. If you've got people reporting to you, it's even worse. Because the leader then comes back and takes over the role, and then he leaves you hanging in there. And the people look at you, they lose trust, they lose confidence in you, because the big bosses come in and took over. And the biggest problem with the micromanagers is that it does not give credit where it deserves. These do-it-all managers. They want to, in fact, what inspires them is that they want to take all the glory. Let me write this thing down. If you've got people working for you, let them shine because you will glitter. I'm going to repeat that. Let them shine because you will glitter. You see, when you allow your people to shine and you give them to be there in the spotlight, it's them that are going to make you to glitter. Are you with me? But we miss the glittering part. We also want to get into the shining spotlight as leaders. Are you with me? Write something down again here. You can achieve, and I want to talk to all the nations there. You can achieve a lot in life if you do not mind who gets the credit. You can achieve amazing things if you do not mind who gets the credit. But if you mind who gets the credit, you will steal the credit that does not belong to you. Your employees will come with very good ideas. They'll produce good reports. That's one reason why I left. My first job was in a company, it's gone now, so I can mention its name, Laminate Industries. It was part of the PG group. I was working in a laboratory. I'm a physicist by trade. I studied physics. So I enter into this new job. I'm excited, and I'm a young man, and I do this experiment in the laboratory, and I go and test them inside the plant, and I come back and I write reports. When they're supposed to go up, and you're a junior, you're starting. So your middle management is the one who should actually make you to shine. No. What he does, he takes all my reports, he makes sure that at the end, he removes my name, he puts his name, and he submits it on top as if it's his. What was he doing? Stealing the credit. When I discovered that, I was devastated. In fact, when and then I wanted to resign, then they explained to me, why are you resigning? I said, no, I don't understand. I said, but this work I've done. No, we didn't know you're doing this work. Is it you? No, your line manager never told us. But it was too late at that time, I've learned in life, once you submit your resignation, never take it back. Just learn that. Never take it back. And I left. So that's what they just steal the credit. Don't be that type of a leader. Because if you steal the credit, you destroy that innate need of every human being to be recognized. It's so deeply embedded in us. That is why when your little daughter or girl does something now, when you say, ah, nah, nah. Now I'm experiencing it again too, thank God. I never had the opportunity to go in sporting events or see my daughter, my children, because I was too busy. But I mean, if you see my little son, grandson, or granddaughter starting to walk, and some people will send the first day they walk and they clap hands. Hey, you can walk. She gets so excited because she needed that affirmation. She worked. We all need that. And you as a leader, you must be a dispenser of that affirmation. Are you with me? You will be surprised how people get motivated if you're so generous with compliments. Be generous with that. Most of the leaders are very stingy about compliments. And it doesn't cost you money to compliment somebody. And compliment must be specific. Don't come and say generally, hey, you look good. No, be specific. I like exactly how you actually developed that report. Particularly clause number 7 of that report. And the idea you made there is great. And can you come to the executive committee meeting and present it yourself? I'll just introduce you and then give you a platform to do it. Wow! That employee will not sleep, will work so hard. But a do-it-all manager doesn't do that. He takes it, he goes to there alone. And he comes to the GC meeting and we ask him questions. And he even, it's not his word. Are you with me? Coach. What is a coach does? Coach elicits top performance and support from team members. He holds weekly meetings and constructive meetings and asks, how are we doing, guys? How can I help? Provide development feedback, not judgmental feedback. There's a difference between judgmental feedback and developmental feedback. Underline that. Because judgmental feedback, I'm just saying, blessing you're stupid. That's judgmental feedback. But if I say, hey, blessing, listen here. What you did is not correct. But let's talk about how you can improve. Do you get it? You like that. And we have given you developmental feedback. Most of the time we get judgmental feedback, which is outright destructive criticism, which is aimed at cutting you to size. I'll cut him to size. Let me cut him to size. Are you with me? Coach, don't do that. That shows faith. You know, there's nothing that builds faith. I remember very well. I grew up here in Katlong, as I tell. Up until standard 4, during our time, it was tough, But number 1, but busy assembly food, But number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, Z20, number 20. Must feel about it. But after 60, I said straight deal. You failed. I think it's score up until standard 3, means Pumela number 30, number 40, somewhere there, just before 50. Until I went to KZN in the school. During our time, there was these boarding schools. And there was this teacher Mangele. I'm very sad that I've learned that he's died. I wanted to drive all the way to and just honor him. And all he did, he just showed faith in me. I was doing standard 5. What is standard 5 now? Grade 7. Yeah. Huh? Grade 7. He just showed faith in me. And he just just by showing faith in me, in June, I remember of that standard, I moved from board number something, and I was in the top 5. December was number 3. Standard 6, I was number 1 for the first time in my life. Because Tisha Mangale just showed faith in me. Can you imagine my potential unlocked already standard 6, which is grade 8. Ever since I flew through my academic life. But it needed that switch on spark from Tisha Mangale. Just to switch it on. Says, you can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. Coach, do that. I'm imploring you. I'm asking you. I can speak like Paul says, finally, brethren, I am asking you, go and switch on somebody's light as you leave here. Just go and switch them on. If you are a Sunday school teacher like Tolage, let's switch it on early in their life. Because all of us need that switching on. Coach does that. Coach does that. All right. Change your approach now. Right, let's quickly move now. Let's move now. When you're going to be a coach, focus on personal development each time. Each member of your team, sit down with them and says, what can I do to help you to achieve your goal? Remember, the fundamental principle I said, when you are a leader, your only and sole mandate is to help that person, whether it works for you for 2 years or for 3 years or 4 years, is to help them reach their God-given potential. So that at the end of their life, they can look back and say, there was Tisha Mangale in my life. Are you with me? And you could be that Tisha Mangale. You know? Stop trying to manage and really act like a coach. Believe that your team can do more. You know, the greatest coach in life was Jesus Christ. I mean, he said this. This is an unbelievable. He was God himself. But he told a bunch of 12 guys. 12 guys. Some of them are fishermen. After that, you know, 12 guys. 12 guys. Some of them had disappeared already when he was. And he looked at them, 12 of them. He says, a profound statement. He says, you are going to do greater things than I have done. Wow. Those guys looked at it and said, what? We can do greater things than him? And they did. Today, you and me are sitting here. They changed the history. Even the calendar of the world is changed. There's a before Christ and after Christ. Are you with me? That's what you change. That's what the coach does. It creates an environment. The coach creates an environment. He does not assume that you have rapport with him, but he creates the environment. He makes you feel trusted, safe, and valued. There's nothing that is as great as being valued. The environment is what I want to talk about. It must be safe for making mistake. Tell the story of Jack Welch. Jack Welch was one of the super CEOs. When he made a mistake, and it was a safety mistake which he made, and then the factory bent down. And then when he came and saw the factory was bent down, he prepared his CV, his resignation letter. He went and took it to his boss because he knew he made a safety mistake that was fatal. The plant had gone down in flames. And then he gave his boss, and his boss asked me, just tell me what have you learned? And Jack said, I've learned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I've done that, this would not have happened. And I'm sure if I'm doing it this, it will never happen again. But anyway, I've got to submit my resignation because I've got to go. His boss took the resignation and tear it apart and asked the question, why should I pay school fees again? You understand? I've paid school fees through you. You've learned. If I have to pay another school fees, it's going to cost me a lot of money. That was a coach. Jack Welch rose and became one of the head of GE. He unleashed his potential there. All of us as leaders, you must have one goal in life that you can say, have I unleashed somebody's potential? Have I switched on the heat? You must transform the conversation when you're a leader. And the conversation is no longer, about the person, what the person should do. The conversation is about the type of question, what should we be doing? How should I be doing it? How do we do it? But the more important question is, how can I help you do it? Right. And how can we improve next time round? So it's all the questions that are linked, and we're going to talk a little bit more about exceptional leaders, about the type of conversation you have. You act like a coach, not a manager. From now onwards, go out and coach. Change the rules. Becoming a coach. Invest time in developing relationship with each and every employee. It's just like when you're a parent. You know each and every child. You don't treat them the same. I'm not meaning favoritism there, but there's a unique way you deal with each of your child. The same when you've got a team. Some of you are going to be team leaders now. Invest time. And I promise you, if a coach works well, it reflects on the team. If a coach doesn't work well, it does reflect on a team. You see, when you're a coach, you believe in a person's ability more than the person believes in his or her own ability. And you need to communicate that. Are you with me? You see, I believe in Andile's. He walked into my office one day and he just walked into and told me he's passionate about serving community. I had never met him from the blue. I didn't know who he is. But I just saw the passion that he had about the community. And I believed in his ability to do it. And ever since that, he has done amazing things in his community. That's what a coach is. I don't phone him every day and check, hey, what are you doing? I just, even this year I'm feeling guilty because we haven't even met to have a formal discussion. But he just gives me the reports of the exciting things he's doing there, impacting the community. That is what a coach is. Sometimes you've got to change in order to help your team to perform best. Now, there's a difference between a coach. You need to understand that. It's not something that you do. It's something you become. So I'm not asking you to have a to-do list now. To go and say, I need to do that. I want you to think deep in your son. And how do I change and become? Not do, become. So you need to go and reflect. You need to go and meditate. And think about, how do I become? Not do. Because do is a to-do list. You walk in the morning, nah, I'm not talking about it. How do you become? No mistake that you're here. You have to become a coach. Have you got a coach? That's the question. Make yourself an assignment to go and find a good coach. And then give him a liberty to tell you the truth. Not what you want to hear. Coach must look you in the eye and says, I want to learn from it. Aye. Ziktochile. You need to give him the liberty to do that. So you're going to be a coach. You're going to be a coach. You're going to be a coach. You're going to be flexible. You're going to be trusting. You're going to be open. You'll be team orientated. That's what coaches are. Let me conclude now. Do you understand the difference between a micromanager and a do-it-all manager and a coach? And are you committing to be a coach? Let me show you. Then show me. I like commitment. You see, I like calling altar calls. Let me speak to the nation out there, the nations all over the world. This world needs coaches more than ever before. Our young people are extremely talented and our young leaders are talented. But we've got too many managers. We need coaches. And I implore you and urge you to develop your coaching skills. Because if we do that, we'll coach our people throughout the whole different nations that we have. And we'll produce leaders that will become coaches themselves, and it will move from one generation to another. And this world will be a better place than we found it. Thank you.
Log on and take a look at what we have more in store for you. It's too much to put it all into one video, but please log on. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you and God bless.
Marketplace Ministry Institute, MMI, is raising Christian ministers who will impact the marketplace for Christ. Pre-register today in our online program to gain access to knowledge of some of the most influential business leaders our continent has to offer. Visit mmi-sa.com for more information.